and won't be speaking with you for several weeks.
At Super Bowl halftime, switch to NBC for Playmate Fear Factor. Halftime Super Bowl Sunday.
Human drama.
Are you human?
Some were unknown actors, others were fading stars, but all gained fame and fortune from the talent of a man who dared to do what many thought impossible. Now, the story of how the producer and his cast made Hill Street Blues and L.A. Law. Television has never been the same. The industry called them crime shows. The concept wasn't new. There had been plenty before. Sure bets in a medium that's built on formula and loves to play it safe. But L.A. Law and Hill Street Blues never played it safe. They rewrote the formula, broke the rules, and propelled their cast into the rarefied world of Hollywood fame.
That remains one of television's finest hours, I think.
We were a unique revolution that took place in 1980.
We were all committed to making this project a success because we knew how good it was. And we knew how rare it is to have that kind of a show given to us.
In a way, I hope it's not true, but it probably is the best experience of my life, best work experience of my life.
But the rest of my life, I'll be known as Sarge from Hill Street Blues.
It was just a monster show of creativity. It was incredible.
Stephen Bochco is one of television's leading producers. Many credit Bochco with reinventing the formula of television drama with his hit series L.A. Law,
From Your Lips to God's Ear,
and the critically acclaimed Hill Street Blues.
These are shows that are smartly written. They're literate, they're complex, they're funny, they're warm in their ways, they're cynical, you know, whatever it is. But it's their words that define them, and I think that's what people like.
It was 1980. TV was at a crossroads. The dominance of the networks had eroded as cable outfits like HBO and Showtime expanded. Ratings plummeted. Audience loyalty, or perhaps viewer apathy, vanished as TV habits changed. The remote control had become a standard item on TV sets. The couch potatoes of America had discovered the joys of channel surfing. The networks were in deep trouble. NBC, worst of all. Desperate for a hit show, the head of NBC met with Bochco, who worked for MTM Productions.
Fred Silverman at NBC gets kind of born again. The cable era is coming in, so he decides to ask Bochco and MTM, both of who had pretty classy credentials, to do a cop show like had never been done before.
New York's 41st precinct.
Silverman had seen Fort Apache The Bronx, a recent film starring Paul Newman. He challenged Bochco to blend the drama of inner-city police with the sophisticated humor of Barney Miller, a situation comedy set in a police precinct.
Bochco was not interested in doing it at all. So he said, no, I don't want to do it. And of course, as anyone knows who thinks someone wants to ask them out, finds out that they don't, suddenly then desperately wants them to, NBC now desperately wants Bochco to do this.
Bochco accepted the challenge.
In essence, he gets carte blanche to do pretty much whatever he wants in this program.
And television has never been the same. Hill Street Blues established a new formula for primetime drama. Complex storylines with complex characters who struggled to cope with life and each other. There were unhappy endings. The bad guys often got away. And through it all, the drama lightened with humor and wit. Bochco's endeavor to produce a unique type of television drama began with the cast.
If you look at the cast of Hill Street Blues, it's not your standard television program circa 1981 when this started.
The whole squad was a sack full of doorknobs. I mean, there were no beautiful guys in it, and they screwed up a lot, and they didn't know what they were doing a lot of the time.
They deliberately went against the grain of casting a lot of people who just didn't look like they belonged on television.
When Bochco made L.A. Law, he applied the Hill Street formula, but dressed it up with designer suits worn by a cast of upscale yuppies.
L.A. Law is Hill Street Blues in Century City in a suit. To me, it's the Cadillac version of Hill Street Blues.
This show was trying so hard to be a realistic lawyer program, not like the old lawyers as gods and saviors that we'd seen back in the Perry Mason and Owen Marshall days.
It's a more sophisticated milieu.
Before L.A. Law and Hill Street, most television shows were centered on a single star the audience could root for. It was a formula established during TV's first golden age, the days of I Love Lucy. But Bochco ignored the formula. Trusting in the network's pledge of creative freedom, Bochco hired actors he knew or whose work he admired, regardless of their star power.
He had almost carte blanche originally because NBC was in deep trouble, actually, when Hill Street began. So he could do what he wanted. And he used almost a Carnegie Mellon mafia in a way. They were all, most of them were friends of his from the days in college.
If it were not for his role as Sergeant Jablonski, Robert Prosky might never have achieved the fame of a star. The same is true for Barbara Bosson.
Stephen said to me, would you like to be in this? There's a role I've written that I really have you in mind for.
Bochco wanted Bosson to play the role of Captain Furillo's ex-wife. After all, Bochco was married to the actress.
Stephen had always intended it to be a running role, but he didn't want to have to go through the politics of having me approved by the network, and because I hadn't really done anything before that. And he knew that they would try to force somebody else down his throat. So he called it a non-running role, which meant it didn't have to have approval. And then, because sometimes things really go right, the head of the network then, Fred Silverman, saw the pilot and said, among other wonderful, he loved it. He said, and that ex-wife, I hope we're going to see a lot more of her. And without saying, but I was Stephen's wife, he said, I think we can arrange that. So I slipped in over the transom or under the door, or however you've got to say it.
When it came time to cast L.A. Law, Bochco once again kept it in the family.
Steve Bochco is my brother-in-law. So, and it was great to work for Stephen because he is, one of, if not the best producer, writer in the business.
The actor claims it wasn't his in that got him the role of Alan Brackman, the cutthroat attorney of L.A. Law.
I just did an independent film called Always that Henry Jaglom wrote and directed. And that was the film that got L.A. Law for me. If it wasn't for that film, I don't know what would have happened.
Bochco's college buddy Michael Tucker was cast as tax attorney Stuart Markowitz. The character was to be romantically involved with Jill Eikenberry.
Make me an offer.
Well, actually, and we can always cancel it, but I booked us a room tonight at the Bel Air Hotel.
Men.
The network feared the public would never believe Tucker could be linked to a statuesque beauty like Eikenberry. Not only did the public love the match, but Eikenberry and Tucker did as well. The two married and are still going strong.
They've really survived the difficulties of having a show business marriage, First their time in New York, and sometimes Jill was working, Michael less so, and then Michael working, and maybe not Jill, and those things put a strain in the relationship, and they've survived all that, and they're just two lovely people who've won out over the odds.
The network expected a macho, tough guy type for the role of Sergeant Hunter in Hill Street Blues, but James Sicking was a longtime friend of the Bochco family. Sicking was cast as the bigoted SWAT team leader with an itchy trigger finger.
I don't have to fly my colors for you to know that I'm a law and order man. Howard?
Of the 14, I think there were only 2 or 3 that he had never worked with before. So under those circumstances, he knew what he was casting, and he wrote to those people. He knew me, he knew Charlie, he knew Bruce, he knew all of these people, and they wrote to their unique personalities, and that's what made it work.
The network often disagreed with Bochco's casting decisions. Captain Furillo was to be romantically involved with a public defender. The network wanted the role to go to the typical voluptuous blonde with the heart of gold. Instead, slim, brunette Veronica Hamill got the part.
I want you to know that what you did tonight frightens me.
This is the kind of crime that tears us.
White male actors are usually picked to portray white-collar professionals. But LA Law broke the rules. The role of attorney Victor Cifuentes went to Jimmy Smits. Later, veteran actor A. Martinez was cast as lawyer Daniel Morales.
The best of it for me was among the most satisfying things I've ever gotten to do on television.
Discover how LA Law and Hill Street Blues crossed barriers, took risks, and changed the formula of primetime drama. When Behind the Fame continues.
This TLC program is sponsored in part by Royal Caribbean. Check out RoyalCaribbean.com and get out there.
They seem like big portobello mushrooms.
They don't really have sharp teeth.
The eye is just kind of...
Stingrays.
Somewhere between swimming with stingrays, parasailing, and inline skating, it hits you. This is way more than a cruise. See for yourself at RoyalCaribbean.com. Get out there.
Get moving to Applebee's for sirloin steak skillets, like our bold pepper steak or smothered steak with fresh mushrooms, onions, and mozzarella. Only at Applebee's.
John, what are you doing? Look, I know you can hear me. John? Hello? Come on, John, it's my turn to drive. Hello?
My Sparky. Love him. Hate his breath. Ooh. So every day, I feed him New Science Diet Oral Care. It's clinically proven to clean teeth and guaranteed to freshen breath. How do I know? I'm also his vet. New Science Diet Oral Care.
Hey guys, I'm home. Your kids have graduated from college. It's now your home to organize any way you please. Your daughter's old bedroom, you've converted into your very own craft room. Your son's old bedroom, perhaps you converted a bit too quickly. ACE, because life is an ongoing project.
Mom? Human courage. Chaos. Being.
Are you human?
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of trading spaces.
Here I am.
Find out how the designers hold up under all that pressure.
It's like playing. It's like a summer camp. Would you like anchovies on that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it, bud. You did a great job.
I'm a hands-on girl. Woo!
Yeah. I pawn everything off onto my team that I feasibly can.
Spray that on there. Let's see what happens.
It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
With so many program choices on digital cable, TV Guide Interactive makes watching television better than ever. TV Guide Interactive is the on-screen program guide for digital cable. Better than channel surfing, it's the control you need to make the most of your TV time. Great features include listings the way you want, parental control, and reminders, plus 3-day local weather on demand and detailed program information. Sign up for digital cable and get TV Guide Interactive. Call your local cable company today.
L&S Carpet takes pride in every job we do. We offer professional installation and a knowledgeable sales staff. L&S gives you the service you deserve for the prices you can afford. And to top it off, we have the largest selection of carpet in Southern California. We carry the best in name brand carpets that look great and are durable like Anso Total Comfort Nylon, the peace of mind technology that's downright comfortable. Don't wait for that special offer to buy new carpet. Come to L&S Carpet where prices are low every day. Call us for a location near you.
His career began on the John Wayne film The Cowboys. A. Martinez is now appearing on the daytime drama General Hospital.
I told you that I would deal with Ford.
Starting in the 6th season of L.A. Law, Martinez played single dad, compassionate lawyer Daniel Morales. The role came after Martinez guest starred as a convicted killer.
In 1990, they wrote a character who was a friend of his who was killed in the gas chamber, and they offered it to me. It was an extraordinarily satisfying experience. And they sent me home with this medical document about the effects of cyanide on the living organism, how it actually gets you. So I was like so set up to have this performance work really well, and it did. And I thought at the time, well, that finishes me off for LA Law because I've played somebody who died on the show. So flash forward to finally be asked to come and play a lawyer on the show was like a dream coming true after I thought the dream was over.
For Martinez and the other actors, the dream was far from over. Not only did they have roles that would make them famous, but in his desire for realism, Stephen Bochco often wrote stories inspired by the actors' personal lives.
Lots of the stories of things that happened to me when I was a young actress in New York got included in storylines, but also lots of aspects of me got put into Veronica Hamill's character.
Hamill's love interest was Captain Furillo, played by Daniel J. Travanti. The actor has a history of alcoholism, so Bochco made the captain a recovered alcoholic. Keel Martin played hard-drinking, hard-living detective J.D. LaRue. It was another example of Bochco borrowing from real life.
Keel was nothing but trouble, but God, was he good. He was such a good actor.
Keel Martin was interesting. The character had many problems with alcohol and controlled substances and things of that sort. Actually, the actor had the same problem. And there was one point where they all got together and told Keel that he had to straighten up, fly right. So they sent the character out to dry out. At the same time, they sent the actor out to dry out. And it worked.
Action!
The acting was enhanced by the program's cinematic style. Television production had always relied on the visual language of wide shot, two shot, and single. Once again, Bochco changed the formula.
I remember the kind of signature shot, if you will, of Furillo coming into the precinct and being accosted by various members of the cast with various problems, and they would peel off.
Howard, take your men outside, would you? They're the makings of a first-class mob.
The long one-shot scene. Overlapping dialogue, handheld camera, dramatic lighting. Today, these techniques are common.
A list of everybody with an MO for church busting in the last decade.
They were pioneered by Hill Street and polished on L.A. Law.
It was a very complicated shot for television at the time. They had some weird kind of dolly that was converted from an old wheelchair. We came in and there were all kinds of sound things up in the grid, various crews with boom mics and everything else. It was innovative. Also, the background sound was quite innovative.
We had a show, first of all, that was densely populated. Far more so, I think, than any show that had ever been on television. As these shows were filmed, everything that you saw, little background phone conversations and stuff, were really scripted. So that the depth of the show, visually and in terms of what you heard, was astonishing.
On January 15th, 1981, the curtain rose on Hill Street Blues. As far as the network was concerned, Bochco's masterpiece laid an egg. The ratings were dismal.
I don't think the public knew quite how to take it, with the noisy soundtrack and the constant chaos and the movement of the camera. And they even toned down on that a bit when people began to say they were getting seasick watching it.
But to the stars of Hill Street, it wasn't the ratings that mattered. It was the critics.
We'd gotten critically acclaimed by critics, but the public hadn't really latched onto us because it was such an innovative show. And it required the public to really work when they were watching the show.
Barbara Babcock won an Emmy for her role as Grace Gardner.
It was the first time that an entire episode was done in almost real time, 24-hour day in the life of precinct station. And it was in that first year done totally inside. There were no car chases. There were no outside shots. Everything was done inside and sort of claustrophobic, in a way the way West Wing is done now. It was groundbreaking, and it was wonderful to be a part of that.
On the eve of the 1981 Emmys, Hill Street was struggling for survival, ranking 87th out of 96 in the ratings. Hill Street's record-setting Emmy sweep changed everything. 21 nominations, more than any series. 8 wins, more than any primetime drama. Variety called it a triumph of quality over ratings. No longer could the public ignore the crime show that was more about cops than crime. By the end of the second season, the ratings took off. Hill Street Blues was a hit.
Hill Street Blues taught Americans to watch TV in a much more sophisticated way.
I think that's true. And it taught networks that they could order shows that were not purely linear. They could order shows that really had much more depth to them.
The cast of Hill Street became the hottest actors in town.
At the time that I started Hill Street, I had what they call a recurring role on Dallas. Then I won the Emmy for that role, and oddly enough, as I was walking out of the theater clutching my statue, the producers of Dallas came up to me and said, "Well, we're writing you out of the show tomorrow." And I said, "Why? I've been doing this for 2 years, and it's been fine for this year with Hill Street, and I've been able to do all the shows on Dallas as well." And he said, "You're too visible now because you've won the Emmy." So the Emmy did me out of work. But I ended up working more on Hill Street as a result of that.
The actors found themselves coping with the joys of fame and the competition to keep it.
It was fascinating. It was delightful. It was challenging. It was miserable. It was unique. It was family. And if you're really honest about family, all of those adjectives fit.
When Behind the Fame continues.
This TLC program is sponsored in part by Centrum Performance, with more key nutrients to help energize your mind and body.
My life has never been more demanding, and yet I want to push a little harder, give a little more, and to help keep my mind and body as active as possible, there's Centrum Performance. It's a complete multi with higher levels of B vitamins plus ginkgo and ginseng to help re-energize my mind and body. The more life demands, the more we demand of ourselves.
Centrum Performance. Life demands it. Who sings that? The Seekers. Who sings that? The Seekers.
No. Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, 1972.
You want expert answers whenever you need them? Come to Office Depot, where our people listen, understand, and help.
How can I get organized?
The new generation of handhelds. It'd be nice if everything was like that. Office Depot. What you need to know.
Wicked place, America, yeah? Well, wicked. Strange lot. Crisps is chips and chips is fries. And they play football with their hands. Cheers to the M life, though, mate. Wicked, yeah? Well, wicked.
It's tough to see things clearly these days. The situation in the world, our economy, your investments. But investing is the job at Janus, and Janus is working to spot opportunities, using the approach that's worked long-term, applying lessons from the recent past, investing in companies that show signs they can perform in this economy and into the next. Get there. Janus.
Australia. With people this friendly, with value this good. 12 nights in Sydney, Melbourne and the Great Barrier Reef, all for $16.99 from Los Angeles on Qantas. Call now, 800-89-KOALA. With a deal this good, we can't wait to say good day.
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of Trading Spaces.
Here I am.
Come on, switch. Let's go. Woo!
It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
Get ready for tension, torque, and tunneling in this week's Junkyard Challenge.
We are lost.
Sharpen up your drill bits. It's size versus simplicity. As teams build mechanical moles to mash through walls and dig to victory. Will they tackle the task with grace?
Don't touch anything, Fergie.
Okay. Or will their tunnels turn to trash? Junkyard Wars Tunnelers, Wednesday at 9, only on TLC.
The casinos, the cash, the girls, the risk.
I must have blew close to 10 million.
Take a chance on TLC as we delve into the hidden world of gambling. From guys who beat the house.
I would never play roulette without a computer in my shoe.
To extraordinary bets.
We'll bet you $100,000 to have breast implants. You want to take a peek?
See it all on Gambling, starting Friday night at 10 and continuing Saturday at 9, only on TLC.
Hill Street Blues ran from 1981 to 1987. LA Law was on NBC 8 seasons, from October 1986 to May 1994. For 2 years, the TV audience was treated to the creative vision of Stephen Bochco, as both series aired in prime time. Critics were united in their praise.
Hill Street Blues is arguably the most important fictional television program to date in American TV history.
It brought cinematic style, different camera angles. It popularized story arcs, nighttime serialization, where no longer did a drama, end its story or wrap up its story within an hour. It actually, continued, not just as a 2-parter or as a 3-parter, but throughout the season.
Hill Street Blues said, no, we can give you a dozen characters or more. The stories won't necessarily conclude here or there. It'll be all over the place, and things won't happen as you expect them to. Oh, we're talking, wait, there goes, and that's how police live.
Life in the posh law offices seemed light years away from the Hill Street precinct, where blue-collar cops fought the moral decay of an inner city. But connecting the dissimilar worlds of Hill Street and LA was the dramatic style. The programs were not star vehicles, but ensemble dramas. All actors were important, each character allowed to grow and deepen with each episode. For an actor, it was heaven.
Every actor dreams of having at least one experience like the experience we all had. That first season, it was as if we had all bonded and come together as an ensemble group, which we were in essence. I mean, there were 4 major leads in it, but there were 15 people who were working very closely together. So we were all, in that first year, very, very grateful for the roles and the writing and the quality of the show itself.
The series was known as an actor's show. Agents begged to get their clients a guest starring role, hoping it would lead to a continuing part. Dennis Franz was one of the lucky ones. Franz is an Emmy Award-winning actor who is now starring in NYPD Blue.
Morning, squad.
Yeah, what do we got?
He got his first good role on Hill Street Blues.
The first time I was on the show was the 3rd year of the show, and it was at the peak of its popularity, and everybody, all the actors, were experiencing visible fame and notoriety and recognition throughout the world. They were on cloud 9, and it was really a wonderful experience for them, and this was brand new to them, and everybody was thrilled about it, and so their eyes were wide open and enthusiasm was very high. They had written a real nice storyline for this character. He was a rebellious bad cop, a bad detective. And I painted myself into a corner that I had to be eliminated from the show. When they did so, Stephen Bochco was also about to produce another show called Bay City Blues, and that was about a minor league baseball team. Asked me if I wanted to be involved in that. I, of course, said yes. And so they killed me off of Hill Street, deservedly so. And I went on to do Bay City Blues. That flopped after 1 year. And then I said, now what? I said, can you bring me back on Hill Street? I said, let me
whatever hair I got left, you can shave off, you can dye it blonde, get rid of my mustache, and I'll come back as Benedetto's gay brother seeking revenge. I said anything to get me back on the show. We all laughed about it, and they said, ha-ha, but we'll have to let some time pass. So 2 years later, they brought me back as Norman Bunce for the 6th and 7th season of the show.
In a medium known for its ability to put you to sleep, Bochco always finds ways to keep you awake. Unpredictable plot twists, cliffhanger endings,
Son of a bitch.
and adult situations. All are Bochco trademarks.
Where the hell did you learn that? I have never, I mean, never in my entire life ever experienced anything like the Venus butterfly.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. It's blasphemy.
In a memorable episode of Hill Street, the self-righteous SWAT leader commits suicide.
When James B. Sicking's character committed suicide, that was heavy duty as well. This was a character that the viewers had come to know. When he committed suicide, it was like a member of the family committed suicide. That was the first time, I believe, that a character on weekly television had committed such a tragic act.
It was very dramatic. It was very shocking. And Bochco had the brains to know it was very realistic.
But Bochco tricked the audience. In the next episode, it was revealed the SWAT leader's gun had been loaded with blanks. The character lived, and the actor kept working. During their long run, the cast list of both shows evolved as new characters were added and old ones cut. After 4 years playing Victor Cifuentes, Jimmy Smits left to seek fame on the silver screen.
I would have been happy to go ahead playing Jimmy Smits in those roles in which he's so very good. He's a good actor. He doesn't wait for lightning to strike. He thinks he perhaps is a lightning bolt, and he can strike wherever he chooses. Well, that's very hard to do.
Another actor written out of the series was Harry Hamlin. In 1990, his character, Michael Cusack, angrily left the firm to set up his own practice. Hamlin departed to pursue film roles.
And my heart goes out to Harry and to Jimmy because it really takes a lot of courage to leave a place that is wonderful. The other hard reason for leaving, and the great reason for staying, is that Gracie wasn't played out. And, you know, she wasn't totally played out yet. And there are other elements about her. And there are more stories to tell through her.
Tragically, one of Hill Street's favorite actors died during production. Michael Conrad played Sergeant Phil Esterhaus.
Phil Esterhaus passed away this morning.
The death of Michael Conrad while filming Hill Street Blues was devastating for everyone concerned.
I was astonished at the depth of their feelings for him.
He was just a wonderful man.
He was one of the most well-loved actors on that set.
Actors come and go. They work with somebody for a while. They don't form emotional relationship. But to a man on that show, they did.
His early morning roll call was a defining feature of the show.
And hey, let's be careful out there.
Be careful out there. Well, the show was never the same again because we never heard those words.
Bochco adapted the grief felt by the cast to the drama, but added the show's trademark dark humor.
Phil and I were making love when he died. His great, brave heart simply exploded.
When Michael Conrad died, who played Sergeant Esterhaus, my role was essentially with him. And I left the show when he died. And that was in its 3rd season.
The producers could never replace Sergeant Esterhaus.
I will, however, continue to deliver the morning rogue.
The character had become forever linked to the actor.
And hey, let's be careful out there.
A totally new character was needed. Robert Prosky got the call.
They were looking for somebody to play the sergeant, the roll call sergeant. I never auditioned for the role, but an offer came, and I decided to do it. It was my first television gig, if you will. The character was originally written as an Irish cop,
And I am anything but Irish. I'm very Polish. So we changed it to Jablonski.
Prosky used his experience on the set of Hill Street as a tool to develop his character.
The character was coming into a new situation. He was a respected roll call sergeant from another precinct. I was a somewhat respected, fairly unknown actor who was coming into a new situation. So both the character and the actor were on the line, as it were. So that's grist for the actor's mill. One situation informed the other.
Season after season, awards for excellence went to L.A. Law and Hill Street Blues. The cast were the hottest actors in town. It was the best of times. The years of struggle extinguished by the bright light of fame. Character actors had become stars.
It was so heady. It was so great. The fact that we were an ensemble meant that there was no star crap. And when we would get asked to come appear in different places, we would go as a group. And that was so much fun. I think my fondest memories of Hill Street was traveling all over the country with different groups. You know, some could come, some couldn't come, whoever could come. But the fun we had was unbelievable.
Bochco's knack for producing critically acclaimed hit shows brought fame to the actors of L.A. Law.
With L.A. Law, when it came, it was very low-key and very sweet because people loved the show, and that's mostly what they communicated. You know, you stop at a stoplight and you see the people in the car next to you knocking on the window, going like that, you know, happy to see you because they love the show so much. It's great, you know, it's certainly a long way from the Beatles or Michael Jackson, you know, where you can't go any place. You can go plenty of places, and just occasionally people recognize you. And it reminds me of high school, where you felt nicely known in your high school, and people nodded to you, and it was friendly, you weren't anonymous. And it sort of brings that sense of small town to your life when people just kind of nod and make a comment that they recognize you, and it's been very pleasant.
I remember it was in New Orleans, and the men of Hill Street, at the height of the renown of Hill Street Blues, we were all walking 6 or 7 abreast, along with Betty Thomas, as a matter of fact, down in the French Quarter. And of course, everybody, the waves were parting in front of us of humanity, and it was quite an experience.
For every one of us, it was very new to have police adore us and take care of us and give us escorts wherever we went. And one time, I can't remember where we were, but we were all given our own police guard that sat outside our hotel room. I stood in the middle of the night, I went out, I said, oh, for God's sake, go home. Nobody's going to mug me. It was a whole new, wonderful world, and it was so much fun.
How would you like to take a peek under my hood?
Then what, lady?
Then you give me a jump.
Oh, what's the sort of thing worth to you?
$10.
Police officer, you're under arrest.
Are you kidding? Solicitation? My battery is dead.
No matter how many times you might have imagined it, what it would be like, be able to say, I want to do this, I don't want to do that, speak in front of huge numbers of fans, be constantly sought out to be questioned by interviewers. You don't really know what it's like till it happens. And you know, what you have to say in the middle of all of that is, this will pass, this will go away.
And it did, in ways that could only happen in the bittersweet dream factory of television. As Behind the Fame continues.
Hi, I'm Jan Muller, and you've seen me demonstrating space bags on TV for over 7 years, with over 30 million space bags sold worldwide. Why? Because space bags are guaranteed to turn this closet into this closet. Simply pack your items into space bag and seal the zipper with our brand new Sure Zip Sealer. Then take any vacuum with a hose and just vacuum out the air. Your items are vacuum sealed and safe. You can store space bags in the basement, in the garage, or under the bed. Since space bags are airtight and waterproof, no matter where you store them, no mildew, moth holes, or spiders. Everything comes right back to life. That's why Good Housekeeping calls space bags a smart solution for cramped closets and a better value than plastic bins. Our jumbo bag holds 2 comforters and 4 pillows. And our large bag holds up to 12 sweaters. Space bags are available at over 6,000 retail stores nationwide, but I've put together a special set that you can only get from me. You'll get 1 jumbo space bag and 2 large space bags for only $19.95. Plus, I'll send you free the large travel space bag so you can pack more in your suitcase. Just squeeze out the air. Call in the next 20 minutes and I'll also include a free duffel-size sport bag, ideal for recreation, outdoor sports, or gym bag. Space bags have sold for as much as $40 on TV. With my special offer, you pay only $19.95. Plus, get the sport and travel bags absolutely free. That's a total of 5 space bags. I guarantee you'll be satisfied or I'll refund your money. But you have to call now. Here's how to order.
Call now to get Jen's amazing TV offer from Space Bag. Remember, for only $19.95, you get a total of 5 space bags, 1 jumbo, 2 large, 1 travel, and 1 sport bag for the incredible price of $19.95. This offer won't last. Call 1-800-571-0707. Call now.
Every Monday night on TLC, it's about normal days that become extraordinary.
It could happen to anybody. It's a very scary thing.
Life's fragility and perseverance.
Hey, little girl. How's my girl doing?
Experience true stories, life unfolding.
Everyone is special. Everyone.
Emergencies, deliveries, families, and recoveries.
We think she's going to do just fine.
The best night of drama on television. Monday nights beginning at 8, only on TLC.
Hey, what's with all the extra carpet?
It's the buyer. He just bought truckloads of carpet.
Well, I guess we'll have to sell at the lowest possible prices to get rid of it.
Well, at least our customers will have plenty of colors to choose from.
And they'll be happy about the money they save, too. L&S has thousands of carpet remnants in all styles and colors,
including name brand carpets like Anso Total Comfort Nylon, the peace of mind technology that's downright comfortable.
L&S Carpet. Call for a location near you.
I think it's a sign. It is a sign.
Introducing the new under $1 McValue menu. Now for just 99 cents, you can get an extra cheesy double cheeseburger or a crispy McChicken sandwich. Just 2 of 20 great tastes to suit your tastes every day. Right now, only at McDonald's.
It's a good sign.
As the seasons rolled on, the actors of Hill Street Blues and LA Law continued to achieve greater fame and fortune. The actors knew they had it good.
The characters didn't get along very well with one another. The actors got along pretty well, but it wasn't a happy, riotous set like some of them.
Generally, Hill Street and LA Law were free of the usual backstabbing and ego battles.
They were all very serious actors and wanted to do bigger and better things eventually.
But on occasion, tensions and betrayals did simmer around the set as the power of fame clashed with the noble ambitions of quality TV.
At the point in time I came to the show, things were in a bit of turmoil. There was a tendency for the rewrites, which were prodigious. I mean, the rewrites were the name of the game. And you'd get those very late at night, the night before, and they didn't want you to paraphrase them or, you know, put your spin on them. They wanted you to say those words, you know, like 8 o'clock the next morning.
As is true of all shows, nothing stays the same. And that kind of first-year enthusiasm and commitment and camaraderie and working together and not worrying about your own career as opposed to the success of the show, that generally doesn't last. It can't.
Something happened towards the end of Hill Street Blues where Stephen Bochco the show got taken from him.
MTM always backed Bochco's creative vision, but never his fiscal extravagance.
Take your men outside, would you? They're the makings of a first-class mob.
Due to repeated cost overruns, the studio fired Stephen Bochco. After the 5th season, the axe fell.
No, I think it was disappointment. I think the show could have run for 12 years. But unfortunately, the powers that be had fired Stephen Bochco on the 5th year, and it died an unfortunate death 2 years later because it didn't have him. It could have gone on for a long time.
And he went on to make LA Law, so I mean it was no big loss for him. But I took on his part. My anger at what they had done to him ended up doing me in at MTM.
Boston learned Betty Thomas was getting more money than she. The actress issued an ultimatum.
On the day that I'd been nominated for the 5th Emmy, I found out that one of the members of my tier was getting more money. And I just became outraged and went to the head of the company and demanded that he do the right thing, or I was off the show. Well, he said goodbye. And I now, in retrospect, know how truly stupid it was. But, oh, I was so self-righteous at the time and really suffered for it.
Bosson had fallen victim to the symptom of the suddenly famous actor. She believed she was indispensable.
It was just awful. I wanted to be there. I did not want to be where I was. I wanted to be back on that set that was like my home. And in fact, I kind of sneaked back in through the back way to pick up some things that I'd left and was just sort of skirting, not hoping nobody would see me. Because I couldn't stop from breaking into tears anytime anybody spoke to me. I went home and went through something that was like drug withdrawal. And I'm not exaggerating or, you know, being dramatic. It's literal. You become an adrenaline junkie when you work in film because you've got to continually, you know, build it up. And you hear speed, rolling, action. And at that moment, this stuff gets dumped into your blood, and it's heaven. And then, then it's over, and you literally go through withdrawal.
Without the guiding hand of its creator, Hill Street never quite regained its luster. In 1988, NBC pulled the plug. L.A. Law carried on the tradition of quality ensemble drama, but in 1994, the firm of McKenzie, Brackman, Cheney, and Cusack closed for good.
It went on for 8 years, that show. That's a long time, and that's high school and college, you know, and so it was very hard when the show stopped. And then when you come to audition at the same lot, you find out you got to park, you know, in Anchorage and take a huge walk now. You don't get on, no one's waving you onto the lot anymore the way you used to. So things get chilly afterwards, and it's very difficult.
Find out what happened to the cast of L.A. Law and Hill Street Blues when famous stars become out-of-work actors, when Behind the Fame continues.
It's happening everywhere. Contact lens wearers are switching to no-rub Optifree Express. The first solution so advanced you don't need to rub. No Rub Express cleans right in the case, yet it's gentle enough for sensitive eyes. So switch to No Rub Optifree Express. So advanced, there's no rubbing needed. No wonder it's #1.
John? John, what are you doing? Look, I know you can hear me. John? Hello? Come on, John, it's my turn to drive. Hello?
Get moving to Applebee's for sirloin steak skillets, like our bold pepper steak or smothered steak with fresh mushrooms, onions, and mozzarella. Only at Applebee's.
What if you could reverse an effect of aging on your cat? Feed her Imes Active Maturity Formula after age 7. It's the first cat food shown to help restore vital cells in her immune system, no matter where life takes her. Imes, good for today, good for tomorrow, good for life. Imes Active Maturity is now also available with Hairball Care.
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of trading spaces.
Here I am.
Find out how the designers hold up under all that pressure.
It's like playing. It's like a summer camp. Would you like anchovies on that?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, bud. You did a great job.
I'm a hands-on girl. Woo!
I pawn everything off onto my team that I feasibly can.
Spray that on there. Let's see what happens.
It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
It's size versus simplicity, as teams build mechanical molds to mash through walls and dig to victory. Junkyard Wars Tunnelers, Wednesday at 9, only on TLC.
The casinos, the cash, the girls, the risk.
I must have blew close to 10 million.
Take a chance on TLC as we delve into the hidden world of gambling. From guys who beat the house.
I would never play roulette without a computer in my shoe.
To extraordinary bets.
We'll bet you $100,000 to have breast implants. You want to take a peek?
See it all on Gambling, starting Friday night at 10 and continuing Saturday at 9, only on TLC.
Once they were at the zenith of their profession, envied for their fame and fortune, recognized by all. Today, some have faded from view, while others remain active, but without the fame they once possessed. After leaving Hill Street, Barbara Bosson appeared in several shows produced by her husband. No longer. In 1998, the actress divorced Stephen Bochco.
I'm an actress. I'm always going to act one way or the other. But, you know, it's dead for me in this town, dead for a lot of women my age in this town. And, you know, maybe it'll come back. Maybe somebody will say, let's get an old Faye Ferrillo. And somebody will say, hey, how about an old Barbara Bosson? And maybe I'll work again.
Bosson remains hopeful. Currently, she is working on a screenplay.
The business is what the business is. Most things are written by men. Men write from their point of view. They should. I write from my point of view, which is a woman's point of view. I wish there was more space for women's points of view. But there isn't. And that's just how it is right now. That doesn't mean that we don't all have the capability of bringing about change.
85% of the union actors, the professional actors, are unemployed at a given time. 85%. You don't get that in any other business. For every 12 roles for a man, there's 1 role for a woman. So there again, for women, it's even more difficult. And so the colleagues that I've seen fall by the wayside have been primarily women. And not because they don't have talent, but because they weren't either able to or willing to hold out in between these long periods of not working. Or they couldn't deal with the stress and the insecurity and the difficulty of competing the way that you have to compete in this business. I mean, I was told years ago that the average is between 50 and 100 people up for every role that you're going to go on. You know, being considered at least. That's hard.
Despite the challenge, Babcock is one of the more active members of the Hill Street cast.
One of the things that is helpful is that I always worked on protecting the character actor label. And so even after Hill Street, I didn't want to continue to do that kind of a role. As a matter of fact, the first role that I did after I finished Hill Street was the part of a sort of spinster-like housekeeper. So it was very different from Grace on Hill Street.
Of all the Hill Street actors, only Dennis Franz is an established star. His work on NYPD Blue continues to rack up Emmy nominations.
I certainly am much more appreciative of the notoriety that I've gotten from NYPD Blue after having experienced it somewhat on Hill Street and then disappeared for a while and then come back. It's very sweet the second time around, you know.
Rachins has a leading role in the sitcom Dharma and Greg.
Hey, Abby, if you're not coming back, I'm gonna eat the apple. Hello.
The actor finds the work less demanding than playing the vain Douglas Brackman.
Let me guess, that's your father.
Yeah, he's posing for Adam.
If Douglas was uptight, I guess Larry is sort of the opposite. You know, I don't know what the word is. It's the opposite of uptight. Too loose, something, maybe that.
Hey, Pumpkin.
Hi, Larry.
I'm doing Adam.
I heard. Larry, this is Greg.
Yeah, and they are about to have sex, so we should probably leave.
Dig it.
He's a lot of fun, you know, and the worst part is that you don't want to take home your wardrobe at the end of the season like you did in LA Law, because those suits were incredible. At the same time, the clothes are comfortable and it's fun, and this job is hour-wise, it's much easier and more fun than an hour-long show, which is harder work.
You have interrupted me right at the punchline, Douglas. You see, that was no woman. That was his wife.
Corbin Bernsen, of course, was the one everyone thought was going to be the huge breakout star of LA Law.
If it were not for reruns and a few low-budget films, Corbin Bernsen would have all but disappeared.
Corbin never, in truth, became a star. He was born a supporting player, and a very good one, a good actor, but good acting has nothing to do with it. He was just an attractive guy for a period of time, fulfilled an American guy kind of role. But they've got new guys coming along in that category every 20 minutes.
Television tends to use up its big stars. It tends to use them when they are exactly doing what the time is requiring, but then they are looking for younger stars, they're looking for hip new movements, and to some extent the very fact that you are associated with something old can to an extent be the kiss of death.
Perhaps the reason why Hill Street Blues and LA Law did not create major stars is what made them so good.
Bochco took the time to give every one of them an opportunity to develop personal characteristics as actors in roles that were very different one from the other.
Bochco hired actors, not stars. That's what made his shows what they are. That's what made his cast what they can be.
Let's be careful out there.
The actors have no regrets. They wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
Across the board, innovative. It was innovative in its writing, in its camera technique, in its point of view.
Hill Street was just better, just better. You knew it when you were doing it, that there might not ever be anything this good again.
It was a highly intelligent, literate show.
It just worked.
I thought back and forth so many times about whether I should take it, and all I could think of my sort of very hard-working Polish mother and father, they'd be rolling in their graves if I turned down that much money. And also, that wasn't the major consideration. The major consideration was it was a good show. It really was. It was nothing to be ashamed of.
I wanted to be a working actor. I knew that if I were going to have this career, I would want to have the career for a good, long time. I certainly didn't have any feeling that what I wanted above all else was to become a major star and be rich. Thank goodness.
I think with all candor that it changed my performing career, and it changed my personal life, and it changed my relationship with my loan officer at the bank. It did a lot of things that made life wonderful for me.
I've been lucky to have this as a working actor for 40 years. That's fine with me.
I am exceedingly proud of being a part of it.
I'm very proud to have been a part of it.
You know, it's so much the luck of the draw in so many ways, because I know a woman friend of mine who has done 14 pilots. One of them went for 13 episodes, 14 pilots, and LA Law was my first pilot. So that was pretty spectacular.
You know, this business is a roller coaster ride, and you have extreme highs and you have very lows. And the highs are wonderful. The lows, you just hope they're not going to last too long till you get somewhere in between.
This is a business of question marks, and there's the excitement of anything can happen, and there's the fear, terror of, oh my God, what if, you know, and you weigh those two things, and you never know how long the show you're on is going to go, and will there be a big gap when it stops between that and the next show? Will there be a next show? What's going on? It's just the kind of business it is, you know. Keep going forward, that I know.
Hill Street Blues and LA Law. They changed the formula and raised the curtain on a new golden age of television. Perhaps their true legacy as they showed what can happen when talent is given the chance to succeed.
Get ready for tension, torque, and tunneling in this week's Junkyard Challenge.
We're lost!
Sharpen up your drill bits. It's size versus simplicity. As teams build mechanical moles to mash through walls and dig to victory. Will they tackle the task with grace?
Don't touch anything, Fergie.
Okay. Or will their tunnels turn to trash? Junkyard Wars, Tunnelers, Wednesday at 9, only on TLC.
Human weakness.
Humankind.
Human justice.
Human behavior.
Human loss. Human emotion.
Human luck.
Human question. Are you human?
See how One Face launched an empire and created two of the most popular sitcoms in television history, Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show. These two primetime masterpieces rewrote the TV sitcom and immortalized their casts and characters. Join us as we go behind the fame of Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show. The incredible success of Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show defined the careers for all who were part of them.
We started off on a 7-year trip through the land of Oz, and it was wonderful.
You don't get that lucky very often.
Kind of put me on the map.
Still just stunned by it.
I think it's safe to say that the 70s and the 80s on television would have been nothing without MTM.
With the creation of both Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show, MTM rewrote the sitcom formula by creating casts of complex characters
Hardly starting to get mortal on us. I like you.
and situations that the audience related to.
What's your religion?
Mr. Grant, I'm not quite sure how to say this, but you're not allowed to ask that when someone's interviewing for a job.
This smart comedy approach allowed MTM to dominate the CBS network of the 1970s. But before these two series set the standard for many successful shows to follow, it all started with one person, Mary Tyler Moore. Her first big Hollywood break came as a teenager landing a commercial for Hot Point appliances.
I'm Happy Hot Point. You want the dishwasher with that Hot Point sparkle.
Richard Diamond.
Better roles quickly followed.
She was given one of the greatest roles in the history of the medium on one of the greatest comedies ever made, which was the Dick Van Dyke Show. The Laura Petrie that she created with the scripts that she was given was just perfect for mid-1960s America.
After the Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary signed a movie contract with Universal and had made a series of not-so-spectacular movies. And she was kind of discouraged by that. And she went back and did a television special with Dick Van Dyke called Dick Van Dyke and the Other Woman, which was a huge, huge ratings hit.
Well, you're welcome for the welcome. As a result, she was kind of rediscovered by CBS, who offered her a 13-episode commitment. That presented me an opportunity to go try to start a company.
Grant had been very smart. He had gone and gotten financing for the show separate from the network. He and Mary had gone on the hook for this and had gone into some debt to make sure that they had control of the show.
My comportment back then was to surround myself with greatness and then let them do the work.
Jim Brooks and I were working on a show called Room 222, which he had created with Gene Reynolds.
Room 222 was a hybrid show combining serious social issues with wit and humor.
He really liked what we were doing on Room 222. He thought it was different, and he thought it had a little bit of meat to it.
Jim and Alan were the keys. I asked them whether they would work together to create a show for Mary.
You know, I said, I think from my experience on the Dick Van Dyke Show that it's smart for me to play somebody who's close to my own persona, that I don't have to create a character and then try to match that character week after week falsely.
We decided we wanted to do a show about divorce. It had never been done. We told Mary and Grant, they loved the idea. A woman of 30, which Mary was at the time, out there alone. We want to have the home place and the workplace. We want to be able to go back and forth between them. And Jim Brooks had worked at CBS News in New York. And he kept talking about the characters and people he had worked with. And I said, what a great place to set this. There's never been anything done in news. Everybody knows about news. And that would be a wonderful setting. Well, we went over to tell the idea to CBS, and they had a corporate heart attack. They said, oh my God, they'll think she's divorced Dick Van Dyke.
And so they changed it to a situation where I had been supporting my fiance, a would-be doctor, through medical school, who then turned around and dumped me after he set up practice, which I found terribly distasteful, but apparently CBS thought that was preferable to being divorced.
The negative reaction on the coast was nothing compared to what they had ready for us in New York. They really hated it.
Fire these clowns, I think was the way Mike Dan said it to me. Get rid of those clowns. It was one of the first times I really could, face down a network guy, because I knew I had, something really good.
With the primary network creative battles behind them, MTM and Grant Tinker were ready to begin casting.
We had the luxury of a lot of time to cast people, and I think that made the difference.
With time on their side, MTM sought out highly respected CBS talent Vice President Ethel Wynant to cast their new show.
I took the script home and I read it, and I thought it was the most wonderful script. I just loved it. So well written, the characters were so interesting. So I called them up and I said, sure, I'll cast it.
She decided that she would help us cast the show herself, instead of an assistant or another casting director that she could have assigned to it. Fortunately, we had our star. We didn't have to go find her. And although everybody else at CBS had their doubts about it, Ethel Wynant loved what we were doing. She adopted us, and she was indomitable and brilliant, and she came up with such good ideas.
Some of her good ideas were not well received by MTM nor CBS. Such is the case with Cloris Leachman.
It never occurred to me that anyone should play Phyllis except Cloris Leachman.
Leachman was first noticed in the Miss America pageant, but it was her ambition to act that earned her an Oscar for her role in The Last Picture Show.
I had been offered 7 different things. I thought we need to put my face with my name for the public, and I thought that would be a good thing to do.
Cloris was exactly the character we were looking for Phyllis.
The character of Murray was supposed to have been my nemesis.
We were reading for Lou Grant, and I had seen Gavin MacLeod.
But because they'd only seen him do heavies, and they wanted him to read for Lou Grant. I wanted Gavin MacLeod to play Murray.
And Gavin walked in the room and said, first of all, I'll read for this part, but this isn't me. I'm Murray, and I'd like to read for that.
I thought Murray was maybe the hardest part to cast on the show. He had to be more adaptable, and he had to create his own sort of place in that configuration of characters.
And we said, humor us, read for Lou Grant. He did, and he wasn't right.
And he read for Murray, and there was no question he was going to play Murray.
Although it is almost impossible to imagine Ted Knight in any other role, he was not initially considered for Mary Tyler Moore.
Ted Baxter, in their minds, was supposed to be tall, dark, and handsome, and maybe not Walter Cronkite, but a love interest for Mary.
We started reading a lot of people. Came very close to casting John Aniston in the part. Still, it wasn't quite the comedy we were looking for, and Dave Davis had seen a man in a play in Los Angeles. He said, there's this guy in it who's the lead who is just hysterical, and he slayed us. He was really funny, but he was still a bit older than we wanted, and we didn't cast him right away. It would have been our horrible mistake not to have done that. He'd wear this awful-looking green blazer that was old and kind of tattered, trying to look like a newsman. And the third time he came in to read, he was wearing a new blue blazer, which we knew he had gone out and bought just for this. And we knew that he was not a wealthy guy. He was a bit actor who was just getting by. And we were touched by that he had gone out. He wanted the part that much. And, you know, that kind of turned us. And we thought, you know what? We love this guy. Okay, he's older than we want, but so what? And we cast him.
You know, it takes really confident people who care about the end result, like Jim and Alan, to let go of their fantasy or their first dream and go with somebody else's idea, or an idea at the very least that didn't come from their heads.
Lou Grant was such a problem. And then Grant called us.
Ed Asner I had seen doing while I was at Fox, he did a movie of the week.
Was a police chief that I turned into a comic character.
And it was such dumb material that he sort of kidded it, you know, rather than playing it straight. And it just gave me the notion that he could do comedy.
I think I could have said Ed Asner forever, and if it hadn't been for Grant, it might never have happened.
He came in and he read for us.
I read, as they said, intelligently, but not funny.
And he was terrible. Just not, it seemed like not an inkling of comedy. So we thought, next, you know, and Ed left. And he was back about 10 minutes later. We got a buzz and our assistant called in and said, Ed Asner is back. And we thought, oh, good God, why? We were polite. He burst into the room and he said, I was terrible. I was terrible. And you guys just sat there and let me be terrible. Give me some direction. Tell me what you really want in this character.
Well, they were startled at that answer, which I've never repeated since. So I must have been possessed. And I read it crazily, as they somewhat wished, and they laughed their asses off and said to read it just that way when you read with Mary. Came back a week or two later to read with Mary and tried to remember what I had done because it was so crazy.
Although she will tell you differently if you talk to her, the fact of the matter is, after they read together, Mary said, and Ed left, Mary said, well, I guess we keep looking, huh? And we said, are you kidding? He was wonderful. You were great together. Weren't you aware of how good it was? I mean, we could feel, you know, like the hairs going up on the backs of our necks. And Ethel said, take my word for it, Mary, this guy is terrific, and there's real magic between real great chemistry between the two of you. And she said, well, okay, if you think so, you know.
That left them with only Rhoda to cast.
We saw everybody in the world, and I was getting more and more nervous. We were getting very close to the wire that we were going to shoot.
It was a tricky character because she had to be abrasive and tough and hard-edged, but she had to be lovable.
I was going to the theater a lot to see off Sunset plays. I was one-acting a lot of them, going for the first act, and then I'd go to the second act of another play. Sort of out of despair, one night I saw a play on Melrose Avenue in a little theater.
And I was in a small production called An American Nightmare. It was a send-up of a British staged reading.
I left after the first act, and the next day I called the theater. Nobody had any idea of where she was or who she was. And I went crazy, and I drove my poor secretary crazy. I was, you know, we called every guild. We couldn't find her. She just didn't exist. And I was so depressed because it was bad enough not to have cast the part, but then to have found somebody who thought could play the part and have lost her. One day my secretary came in with an envelope and she had a bunch of pictures in it, and she said, is this who you're looking for?
Val came in, and she came in with props.
I think they were quite taken aback that someone went to all this trouble. I worked on my best Bronx accent.
And that was another one of those spine-tingling things.
I came back about a week later, and there she was.
She read with Mary, and there was just no question. We signed her. I mean, it was a miracle. It was just a miracle.
With the cast in place and the network firmly against them, the MTM team faces disaster.
We were bombing. The show was bombing.
I said to Grant, they've got to fix it. They've got to fix it.
Every Monday night on TLC, It's about normal days that become extraordinary. True stories, life unfolding. The best night of drama on television. Monday nights beginning at 8, only on TLC.
All right, boys, last card.
I'm gonna raise you $1.
You must have something, boys.
Just $1. Hey, don't you know about 10-10-220?
What? Yeah, man, 10-10-220. All calls up to 20 minutes, 99 cents.
And 7 cents a minute after that.
All calls up to 20 minutes for 99 cents? See, $1 is worth a lot. I'm out.
Me too. I call you.
Do you have any 5s?
Go fish.
Dial 10-10-220.
It's tough to see things clearly these days. The situation in the world, our economy, your investments. But investing is the job at Janus, and Janus is working to spot opportunities, using the approach that's worked long-term, applying lessons from the recent past, investing in companies that show signs they can perform in this economy and into the next. Get there. Janus.
Red, green, baby blue. So many colors remind me of you. Your warm kisses, the way you smile. Your irresistible uptown style.
Colorful, comfortable. Men's and women's all-weather mocks, just $29.50. Reds, browns, greens, even the blues. Only from Land's End.
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of trading spaces.
Here I am.
Find out how the designers hold up under all that pressure.
It's like playing. It's like a summer camp. Would you like anchovies on that?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it, bud. You did a great job.
I'm a hands-on girl. Woo!
I pawn everything off onto my team that I feasibly can.
Spray that on there. Let's see what happens. It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
Hi, Dorothy. You know Ashley needed a new bedroom set. Yesterday, we saw the cutest store on Home and Garden TV called Kids Room. Dorothy, it is beautiful. Plus, the people are knowledgeable and friendly. Kids Room has real hardwood bunk beds as low as $2.99. They also have desks, dressers, and mattresses, all at great prices.
Kids Room with 5 stores to serve you. Call 1-888-KIDS-ROOM for the Kids Room nearest you. That's 1-888-537-ROOM.
Make more practical decisions with help from the Verizon Super Pages. The Verizon Super Pages. Better pages for better decisions. Verizon.
With total control of Mary Tyler Moore, the cast in place, and the network against them, MTM appeared doomed to fail before the first show even aired.
Oh, I knew it was a damn good show.
Nobody liked the show at CBS.
They had some problems.
They didn't like the script.
It didn't mean it wasn't good.
They certainly weren't thrilled with the cast. So the show was not looked upon with much favor at the network. It didn't get much support. And they were disappointed because here was their star, this crown jewel they had, Mary, in what they thought was not a very good setting. I loved it, and I was constantly defending that show.
The shows were funny, but they were funny because of character rather than jokes.
It just wasn't the type of comedy they were used to.
They wanted to test it out, and they wanted us to do it in front of an audience.
It was a very, very trying day, because everything hung on this.
They called it Black Tuesday. Just an awful day, just an awful night. It was just the worst.
We were having a heat wave. It was so hot. It was like 105 5 degrees in Hollywood. I mean, it was very unusual weather.
Jay Sandrich was directing, working real hard with the actors.
What is the job?
Job doesn't pay as good as it sounds.
Well, what is it?
The job that's open is associate producer.
Associate producer?
What's the matter?
Nothing. I like it.
We read, we worked on scenes, the writers were there with us.
And just a couple of hours before the audience was to come in, they had a bomb scare, so they had to clear the lot. And finally, they got to come back in to the studio in the heat and try to watch this show with these bulky, terrible cameras.
Jim and I decided that we had to do the warm-up for the show. We were the least funny people doing stand-up that you could imagine.
And they didn't like it. They didn't laugh at anything. And we were all devastated.
Mercifully, we got through it and it ended.
Mary was very valiant, and I will never forget because she came out and thanked the audience just for living through it with them.
I went home and I cried myself to sleep that night. I said to Grant, they've got to fix it. They've got to fix it. You know, this was my hope, my dream, my life, everything come true. And he went into the other room and he made a phone call to Jim and Alan, who were still in the writer's room. And he said, fix it, and hung up the phone.
So they went back and they reworked it. I mean, they didn't really change the writing so much, they just tightened up a few things.
The guys had very few changes, as I recall. It primarily involved Mary and Rhoda and Phyllis.
Our script supervisor, Marge Mullen, said, I don't know why they don't like Rhoda, because I do, but maybe if Phyllis's daughter, who was this like 10 or 11-year-old girl, if she likes Rhoda, it gives everybody permission to like Rhoda.
And they made those changes.
And essentially, that following Friday, we did the very same show, and it went through the roof.
The audience started to laugh right from the get-go. And then when we got to the scene where Lou interviews Mary for the job, which became a sort of a signature scene for us, there were explosions of laughter.
How old are you?
30.
No hedging? No, how old do I look?
Why hedge? How old do I look?
30. What's your religion?
Mr. Grant, I'm not quite sure how to say this, but you're not allowed to ask that when someone's interviewing for a job. It's against the law.
You want to call a cop?
And Jim and I just turned and looked at each other and thought, it happened, you know?
It was a huge success.
After we made it, it was tested, and there are a lot of tests that networks have made over the years of shows that became very successful that are funny today because the testing was so negative, and Mary's was one of those.
And still retains this honor as being the lowest ranked television episode ever viewed in the history of CBS.
After a while, we knew how special the show was. We really did.
Especially that relationship between Lou and Mary. We knew that was just gold.
Everybody really loves you.
I know.
CBS executives' lack of confidence threatened to torpedo the show even before it started.
We were slotted against the #1 show in the country, which was the Mod Squad.
It was a death spot for the show. There would have been no one would ever have seen it.
However, Bob Wood, who had become the president of CBS,
took a huge chance when he canceled things like Beverly Hillbillies and Petticoat Junction.
Bob was smart enough to say, television is changing.
Let's drink to it.
Be careful with that hot coffee. You almost burned your bra.
Making time in the hallway. Don't lean up against no doorbell.
Bob named Fred Silverman as his new program director.
And Fred Silverman came out to the coast the day that they delivered the first episode. So Fred came down to the viewing room, and all the vice presidents came down and sat there, and we ran the show, and it was wonderful. I mean, I had not seen the final cut. The lights came on, and nobody's saying anything because they're waiting to hear what Fred's going to say. Fred picked up the phone, and he's fussing with it, and he said, how the hell do you get a New York call through. So I got hold of Bob Wood, and he got on the phone with Bob, and he said, Bob, I've just seen the Mary Tyler Moore show. It is a terrific show. It's too good a show. Got to move it.
He took very kindly to the show. He loved it, and he was its champion, and he gave us a better time period, which was Saturday night.
Mary Tyler Moore hit the airwaves on September 19, 1970.
Mary was not an instant hit.
Television breeds familiarity. If you're familiar with a concept, you'll watch it. If something new is introduced, it takes a while.
They let that grow.
It was never #1.
It took 3 or 4 episodes, but then before it built into the sort of legendary hit that it became.
Mary Tyler Moore show, the perfect ingredients. Extraordinarily well written, wonderfully directed, wonderfully cast.
Say, Moore, maybe you can remember. He's a tall, blonde-haired
Ted,
fella.
are you sure that they're playing around?
Of course. It's all over the building.
Comes a time when all the elements are right. The writing, the supporting cast, the character for you, and you can rise to it as the star.
And we just kind of proved, I think, that you could do a show without a whole lot of jokes.
Don't feel bad, Mayor. Even if everybody else did have a bum time, I met a terrific chick. She gave me her phone number. Ted, she gave you the number to call when you want the correct time. I thought her voice sounded familiar.
Good night.
It was all kind of recognition humor.
Each week, audiences tuned in to see characters they could relate to, confronting reality in humorous ways.
We were character comedies, and the comedy came out of the characters, and that's what made them so long-lasting and so good.
I can't tell you how really rotten I feel that Edie and I had a fight at your nice little party here.
Oh, Mr. Grant, I'm sure nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed? An angry woman comes in and yells, "I can take off my own coat, Lou." Walks into your toilet and locks the door. Comes out 2 hours later and shouts, "Thank you for a wonderful evening." And asks Murray's wife to drive her home. Nobody noticed?
Mr. Grant, it's just because it happened to you. I'm sure no one else is even aware of it. I mean, we always think people are aware of things because we're so very aware ourselves, and they're not.
Really?
Really.
The actors themselves were so complex. I think we all got to want to show the complexities and put them into the scripts.
You had these writers to rely on in terms of their talent and their expertise and their brilliance.
God knows I'm a huge writer lover, but the casting and the casting of the Mary Tyler Moore show was just brilliant.
You'd give me an honest opinion, won't you? Not necessarily, Phil. Well, listen, I'll taste it. Give it a try here. I love this pie.
So it's come down to this. I've become such an object of pity that even Rhoda is being kind. No!
There was no loser in the whole bunch.
And the characters were real.
Everybody knows a blowhard.
Of course, you all know who I look up to. My closest and dearest friend and colleague, Walter Cronkite.
Everybody knows somebody like Phyllis.
Mary, do you know how hard it is to make an apple pie? My beautiful hands. Hands that once touched the notes of Chopin.
We all have a boss that yells and screams at us.
It's impossible. Patrol car that hasn't made an arrest in 3 weeks.
Through each season, they would grow.
All of our characters evolved. They didn't stay stuck in one point in time.
And some even moved on.
So the show never tired because when these characters or actors did move on, they were replaced with people like Betty White as Sue Ann Nivens.
I don't seem to have any choice. I'm not doing it for myself, you understand, but for those ladies out there who need me.
By the way, Sue Ann, do you know how to remove chocolate stains?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
This allowed a new creativity to be born within the shows and for the writers.
Storylines developed over time rather than unfolding within the confines of one show.
Commitment to the people being real. I think that's the hallmark of the show. That's why it's valuable and valued and very impressive today, no matter how out of style.
Just an incredible ensemble of actors as well, and writing and directing and producing talent that was just revolutionized the entire industry.
You think it went, Mayor?
With the success of MTM and new formula sitcoms charting at the top of the ratings, MTM adds another workplace comedy to the Saturday night lineup, The Bob Newhart Show.
To do comedy well takes unbelievable skill.
And I hadn't had much luck with people writing material for me. They created all these characters. They gave us a wonderful framework in which to operate and to write. These characters were very clearly delineated. All we had to do was learn the voices and write for them.
How old are you? Are you married? Do you have any kids? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Do you like horses?
Long-lasting Extra. Official gum of bumps in the road. Extra. It lasts, so you will too.
I'll never watch TV instead of doing homework or hide laundry under my bed. I'll be the best dog if you give me what I need.
You've got one chance to raise a healthy puppy. Introducing new Purina One brand large breed puppy formula. Purina has created the first and only puppy foods with a nutrient proven to help reduce the percentage of body fat during growth. So large breed puppies grow lean and healthy. And research shows these puppies need less fat and more love. Purina One, second to none.
Christopher! Come on, let's go, sweetie!
In neighborhoods all across the country, something special is happening. The people of State Farm are offering free child safety seat inspections. State Farm is the sole sponsor of the nation's largest child passenger safety study, which found that even though they've outgrown a car seat, kids 40 to 80 pounds still aren't big enough for an adult belt. They need a booster seat. Being there to help keep kids safe, it's what being a good neighbor is all about.
They're back, and they're smarter than ever.
He's calling for help.
Get set, Jurassic Park 3 is coming to pay-per-view in a big way. Order Jurassic Park 3 and get an awesome 4-foot-wide dino chart free, featuring all the amazing dinosaurs from this latest expedition to Isla Sorna. Don't miss Jurassic Park 3, playing this month on pay-per-view.
Weekdays on Personal TLC. Get front row seats for a wedding. I will. Welcome the arrival of a new baby.
Look at you.
Hear inspirational stories of personal triumph.
I think I'll be smiling all the time.
Follow a couple on a blind date.
Everything just seems to be clicking.
And find a whole new look with a makeover.
Wow.
Tune in weekdays 9 to 4 for all your daytime favorites on Personal TLC.
The casinos, the cash, the girls, the risk.
I must have blew close to 10 million.
Take a chance on TLC as we delve into the hidden world of gambling. From guys who beat the house.
I would never play roulette without a computer in my shoe.
To extraordinary bets.
We'll bet you $100,000 to have breast implants. You want to take a peek?
See it all on Gambling, starting Friday night at 10 and continuing Saturday at 9, only on TLC.
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of Trading Spaces.
Here I am.
Come on, switch! Let's go! Woo!
It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
With the overwhelming success of Mary Tyler Moore, CBS had to concede that MTM had struck gold.
There is no question that, gee, if that works, let's try it again and again and again.
And that's just what they did. CBS executive Alan Wagner approached 2 members from the MTM team.
Dave had been our producer, and Lorenzo was his writing partner and was our story editor.
We were approached to do a pilot, and it was something that we always wanted to do. It was our dream to do it. We had a show to do. We'd like to tailor it to Bob Newhart.
In the late 50s and early 60s, comedy in this country began to change with people like Bill Cosby and Bob Newhart, whose comedy was more
reflective, quiet, thoughtful. And Bob Newhart was literally an overnight success. You know, a Chicago accountant who was sort of pushed into appearing in clubs, and then they recorded one of his nights to get out a comedy album. It's called The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, and the album sold huge.
I knew Lorenzo, and he and Carl had written really a very good piece, and I hadn't had much luck with people writing material for me. They would send me stuff, but it just never quite fit. But they wrote a thing on air traffic controller. It was very funny.
CBS loved the idea of doing a show with Newhart, so the writers went to work. It would be a show about a married couple, but with several twists.
It was a marriage of real equals, which was rare for that time. She wasn't the perfect housewife that we've always seen in TV.
Right on time, just like always.
And also, this was not a blue-collar couple. He was a professional, she was a professional. They lived not in a house, they lived in a high-rise in Chicago. Even Chicago was probably, you hadn't seen it. It was always New York and LA, and then Mary did Minneapolis. So even Chicago was a different look.
They would now need to find a profession for Bob.
Lorenzo especially knew my background and written for me, and so he said, well, you know, Bob he's a listener. Bob was also a great reactor, and probably still is.
Bob just has a funny face. It's not an obviously funny face, but if you look at it for a long time, it really is funny.
It would be a non-traditional show, so Bob would need a unique profession.
What if Bob is a psychologist and it just felt right?
To get him into this environment with other people, reacting was a sort of a natural.
For some reason, having a fat body doesn't threaten you. Well, I'm happy to hear you've been able to control it. Mrs. Harold? Yeah, I can't understand you with your mouth full.
Bob's deadpan, attitude is perfect for what a lot of shrinks do when they don't say anything. And occasionally if they do say something, it's 4 lines.
You back up and build up to that a little more.
CBS loved the treatment, but had 2 caveats. 1, they didn't think people would know what a condominium was. And 2,
does he have to be a psychologist? And we said, well, that's the whole point.
It was the early 70s, and they were worried that a comedy about a psychologist would make fun of a sensitive profession. But Grant Tinker went to bat for Davis and Music.
He trusted those 2 guys.
And a compromise was reached. In the pilot, he would be called a personal counselor. They got the go-ahead for the pilot. Because they were still working on Mary, time spent on the Newhart script was minimal.
We all knew that they were working on Newhart, and now we had 2 offices, and we could run down to each other's offices and, what do you think of this line, and what's happening on Newhart?
It would be the end of the summer before it was completed. They had everything except one thing, Bob Newhart.
Bob didn't really want to do a series. He had done one some years before that hadn't been a pleasant experience. Grant asked me if I would go over to meet with Bob at his house and help talk Bob into the idea of agreeing to do at least a pilot.
I said, yeah, I'd like to very much.
With Newhart on board for the pilot, they next cast Peter Bonners as a fellow psychologist that would share a waiting room with Bob Hartley.
Peter was also a psychologist, but he was like into far-out psychology.
The casting of Bob's wife, Emily Hartley, was crucial in making his character work.
They needed to make him somehow sexy and desirable. And the man Plachette had a very large career in movies, going back to 1960 to The Birds, and played a series of deep-throated, sultry, brunette characters playing opposite young up-and-coming actors of that time.
I said, great, find out if Susie wants to do a television show. And it turns out she did, and the chemistry was there, and the writing was intelligent.
For a finishing touch, one of Bob's patients, Mr. Carlin.
Mr. Carlin was based on a real person. He was a person in my group, and he was like Mr. Therapy.
The man you love to hate, yeah, that was kind of Carlin. He was like that.
The man was crazy. He was just tormented by so many demons. He was kind of what you'd call the writer's voice, which is kind of cynical
dyspeptic.
With the cast now in place for the pilot, Grant Tinker gets CBS to fly Newhart, Music Davis, and an assistant director out to Chicago to shoot the main title.
I mean, I just love the opening with the L, with the quick cuts, and you know, it was unusual for it was a different look that we hadn't seen before.
They had
the Mary Tyler Moore show. We did an audience preview on 3 nights before we did the show, and we had an audience there, no cameras but an audience, and Bob wasn't loud. He just sort of said his lines and mumbled a little. So after the show, everybody was panicked. They said to me, "You got to talk to him. You got to talk to him. We can't hear him. He's got to talk up louder. You know, they're not laughing." So I said, "Bob, it was a little hard to understand you. Can you be a little louder?" He said, "Oh, are we filming tonight?" And I said, "No, this was just the." He said, "When we film, they'll hear me."
When the cameras rolled, the audience heard Bob, and they loved him.
Why'd you say that?
I felt so left out, I just had to say something.
Emily, there are a lot of good reasons for adopting a child, but having to say something at a party is not.
Well, why not? I mean, you've been thinking about it, haven't
But
you?
was CBS ready to accept this new kind of sitcom?
The pilot was very iffy. It just didn't quite work. And it wasn't immediately scheduled.
With the pilot in hand, the MTM team heads to New York to argue their case, to gain a time slot for the Bob Newhart show against copious other pilots, such as MASH and the Waltons.
You can take an average actor, put him into a brilliant script, and he'll be wonderful. But you can't take a brilliant comic and put him in a bad script and make him wonderful.
I think it was, again, another show that was ahead of its time.
Today's business thought. The difference between WorldCom and ordinary network solutions companies? We own the most scalable IP network. They don't. We plug solutions directly into our network. They can't. We take precautions. They take risks. But you don't have to. WorldCom Generation D.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, 'cause you heard the sign and I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying that together come back and see me. Yesterday, you've forgiven me, but it'll still be today till I say I'm sorry. Gonna make a digga 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 like a digga 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 like vanilla. It's the finest of the flavors. Gonna see the show 'cause then you know the vertigo is at my door and it's a banger as you like to sign a waiver. I have a tendency to wear my mind on my sleeve. I used to really listen to my It's been 1 week since you looked at me, dropped your eyes to the sides and said I'm sorry.
Hi, Pat Murphy-Stark here. I'm sure you've seen those fantastic electronic ab belt infomercials on TV. They're amazing. They're the latest craze to sweep the country, and everybody wants one. But the thing is, they're expensive, selling for up to $120 each. Well, that's why we developed the Ab Force that you can buy right now for just $20. That's right, just $20. Why so cheap? Well, just like cell phones and VCRs, the price of electronic products keeps coming down. We were able to cut a deal directly with the factory and are passing the savings on to you. The Ab Force uses the same powerful technology as those expensive ab belts, capable of directing 10 different intensity levels at your abdominal area. And here's an even better deal. Call right now and we'll double your order. That's 2 electronic Ab Force belts for just $20. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call now.
To order your 2 Ab Force massaging belts for only $20 plus shipping and handling, call 1-800-998-8605. That's 1-800-998-8605.
Human courage, chaos, being.
Are you human?
On an all-new Trading Spaces, Jen serves up an unpopular selection.
Oh, dear God.
While Hildy takes an avant-garde gamble.
Taupe all around the room.
That's a pink couch.
On an all-new Trading Spaces, next on TLC.
Chrysler Jeep, your 5-star dealership, is proud to be passing along a great deal for the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Chrysler Voyager. Get a 0.0% APR on the 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee. The new Grand Cherokee provides better on-road handling, a quieter ride, and strives to protect its passengers. You also get a 0.0% APR on the 2002 Chrysler Voyager. Starting at $17,310, it delivers all of the advantages of a minivan at a great value. The best deals are waiting for you at Center Chrysler Jeep.
I'm sure this is gonna work. We do this all the time.
Come on, let's go.
I got him. Oh, it's cold. Freezing.
Good.
If you ever have another one, you're gonna need it. I'm getting hot.
Eat a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich seasoned with our own blend of pepper and spices, and you get a spicy hit that makes you feel warm all over. Perfect for that low-budget winter vacation.
Sunblock?
Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich. When you're hot, you're hot. Remember, Wendy's pickup windows open at 1 a.m. so you can eat great even late.
There was fierce competition for the coveted slots in the CBS fall lineup for the 1972 season. With a bumper crop of really good pilots such as MASH, Maude, and the Waltons, Lorenzo Music and David Davis, backed by the MTM team, headed to New York to secure a slot for the Bob Newhart Show.
How could we pump it up so that of these shows that were still to be selected, that it would be the hot contender? We looked at the testing very carefully and realized that they thought Peter Botters were so eccentric that that the audience didn't feel comfortable with him.
They decided to kind of rewrite it, and so they rewrote it. Peter became a dentist.
So by making him a children's dentist, it made him more accessible and his office a perfect setting for. They added Bill Daly as Howard Borden, the quirky airline navigator from across the hall.
He couldn't navigate his way out of a broom closet, but he was always very, very funny, Bill.
Remember, Lorenzo Music created the show, and when he brought me over, he said, well, tell me about the character. He says, well, you're like 3 hours behind jet lag. And I said, that's me. Bob laughed.
We created a receptionist role, which Marcia played.
I think Bill Paley himself saw her on a Merv Griffin show and said, hey, she'd be good on that new pilot we're doing.
He thought she was just the greatest. He was the head of the company, and he would call and say, I don't know why, I've never seen this girl before. Why isn't she in one of our shows?
The phone rang. He said, hello, this is Grant Tinker. Would you like to be on the Bob Newhart Show? And I said, well, of course, then I'd be happy to come in. He said, no, you don't understand. You've got the job. Well, I couldn't believe my good fortune. I thought, surely this is some terrible joke, and that they're going to go, gotcha.
Now all they needed was the group. Those eccentric characters who would take Dr. Hartley to his wits' end.
I had 4 roles to cast. I didn't think it was anything special, and I don't think anyone really knew that it was going to be as special as it turned out to be.
The group became a character in the show.
They each had an individual voice. Mr. Carlin was the curmudgeon, and Mrs. Bakerman, Florida Freebus, the actress who was always knitting, and she was a supermarket checker, and she was just so cheery, and but then could just lay you away with one little zinger. And there was Mr. Peterson, who was very mild-mannered, and Mr. Gianelli, who was bitter, and Michelle, who was this very wounded bird. But as a group, they were just this a group of misfits.
I love the fact that you can say what's really on your mind, If somebody's being a jerk, you can call them a jerk, which is nice.
And they were loonies, but they were really quite likable, harmless loonies.
With the palette of personalities reworked and finally accepted by CBS, Newhart became the final pilot to be picked up for the season. The Bob Newhart Show was an adult comedy with the Hartley marriage being the one seemingly normal relationship.
He had a very feisty kind of a wife who kept him on his toes.
It just happened within the writing, and I mean, they loved each other and respected each other and respected each other's opinion, and it was a very adult relationship.
It's all about chemistry, and it's indefinable.
If you look carefully at some Newhart shows, you'll see Bob kind of not quite being able to hold it together, and sometimes we'd leave that in, because it was moments that stay with you over the years, the unguarded moments.
It was about the lives of these people and their interactions, but it wasn't political, it wasn't topical.
That's the reason that people like the Newhart Show, because maybe they saw themselves.
Legitimately, to do something like that and connect with the audience is like everybody's goal.
It is said that in many ways, Bob and his loonies were among the most well-adjusted characters on TV. And like Mary Tyler Moore, the series was populated by witty, sincere people who faced the irrational realities of everyday life. They were believable.
By today's standards, however, I think we would have been gods. It was just the, comparison to, something that was totally extraordinary.
I think it got stronger every year, and as the characters became more fully developed, and eventually I think it was, in a lot of ways, as meaningful and as lasting as the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
You know, it was part of the culture of the 70s. That Saturday night lineup, All in the Family, MASH, Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, and Carol Burnett. So how can you not be appreciative of that?
Rain, snow, sunshine, dear. It doesn't matter when you're near. Who cares about the weather? We'll be together right here.
Comfortable, versatile, our best-selling shoe. Men's and women's all-weather Mocs, just $29.50. And maybe the most noteworthy shoe you'll ever own. Only from Land's End.
It seems like only yesterday. When I started skating at 8 years old, I never thought I'd experience the thrill of winning a medal. With all the great memories has come another thing I thought I'd never experience, the pain of osteoarthritis.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for osteoarthritis pain. With one little pill a day, Vioxx can provide powerful 24-hour relief. Vioxx specifically targets only the COX-2 enzyme, a key source of arthritis pain. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, talk to your doctor about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain.
Perhaps my biggest victory is to be able to plan my day around my life instead of my pain.
Ask your doctor if Vioxx is right for you. Vioxx for everyday victories.
At 1-800-Flowers.com, we can help you find the right gift for anyone. There's a lot to choose from this Valentine's. Like this Lenox Masterpiece vase with a dozen roses. Our Lots of Love assortment. Roses in a cherub planter. Or these delicious gourmet treats. Schedule delivery between February 10th and 12th, and you'll get 10% off your purchase. So give someone special something special. Just call, click, or come in to 1-800-Flowers.com.
On an all-new Trading Spaces, Jen serves up an unpopular selection.
Oh, dear God.
While Hildy takes an avant-garde gamble.
Taupe all around the room.
That's a pink couch.
On an all-new Trading Spaces, next on TLC.
Every Monday night on TLC, it's about normal days that become extraordinary.
It could happen to anybody. It's a very scary thing.
Life's fragility and perseverance.
Hey, little girl. How's my girl doing?
Experience true stories, life unfolding.
Everyone is special. Everyone.
Emergencies, deliveries, families, and recoveries.
We think she's going to do just fine.
The best night of drama on television. Monday nights beginning at 8, only on TLC.
The casinos, the cash, the girls, the risk.
I must have blew close to 10 million.
Take a chance on TLC as we delve into the hidden world of gambling. From guys who beat the house.
I would never play roulette without a computer in my shoe.
To extraordinary bets.
We'll bet you $100,000 to have breast implants. You want to take a peek?
See it all on Gambling, starting Friday night at 10 and continuing Saturday at 9, only on TLC.
On February 16th and 17th, grab your toolbox and get ready for 2 full days of Trading Spaces.
Here I am.
Come on, switch! Let's go! Woo!
It's a Trading Spaces weekend, beginning Saturday, February 16th at 9, only on TLC.
As many stars can attest, fame often brings with it unintended consequences. For Bob Newhart, it was a shock to learn why he had become so popular on college campuses.
I've heard about it more and more now. It's unfortunately a drinking game that is played at college campuses all over the country. For some reason, I think Southern Methodist, but I'm not sure. I think that's where I heard it originated. Now, it's a two-edged sword because they obviously like the show or they wouldn't sit and watch it, but I just hope when they play highball they don't drive. I would hate to be remembered for my television career, be remembered for highball. But
Few situation comedies in the history of television have reached the levels of success, fame, and fortune as Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show.
What the MTM company did, because it not only did the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Bob Newhart Show, it went on to do Hill Street Blues and St. Elsewhere and a whole number of other programs, was to absolutely revolutionize American television.
We didn't know we were part of history while it was happening. I mean, years later, you look back on it, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was like a graduate school for comedy. It was like a campus.
Everything I know I learned at MTM.
What sets these programs apart from so much of television, past and present, is that they were class acts from beginning to end.
It was never a stand on the soapbox and shout show. It pioneered, but it pioneered without self-consciousness.
Mary had no ego, which wasn't to say she wasn't proud of the show. As it went along, she became more so because it was highly praised. It was truly a family, and she was just the center of the family. It was a very happy set.
Not only are Mary Tyler Moore and The Bob Newhart Show ranked among the top 100 TV programs of all time, but 3 of its characters, Barry Richards, Ted Baxter, and Mr. Carlin, are firmly etched on TV Guide's 50 top characters of all times.
That was a surprise, yeah. The top 50 characters of all time. I was on a list with Gleason and Art Carney and all these people, Sid Caesar, and people like that I've idolized. I'm on a list of 50 with those guys. That was really a nice thing to have.
For those lucky enough to have participated in the MTM Hollywood dream, the harsh reality of here today, gone tomorrow, is always the downside of success.
Listen, you could get whiplash from my life in show business. One day I wasn't allowed to audition for a pilot because I was too recognizable, and that afternoon I went to audition and they thought I was there for the secretary job.
MTM created television that made a difference in people's lives.
People talked about the show and the brilliant performances from everybody, including me. They gave me some share in the credit too. But now that it has been seen by people who were young adults then, who are now mature, they are coming to me with tears in their eyes or a lump in the throat saying, "You got me through some really tough moments," or "I was able to escape some really ugly stuff that was going on in my home at the time," or "You're the reason I'm in journalism today." And you know, very few of us are lucky enough to, at the end of our life, know we were here for some purpose, and I am going to be one of those lucky few. I know I served some people very well.
And now, our full hour of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment continues on the WB.
You've been egged! That's on me. That's a... Welcome to the Jamie Kennedy Experiment! The most important aspect of yoga is breathing.
The second most important aspect of yoga is not wetting yourself when the chakras hit the fan. Has anyone in here not taken yoga before? You have not? All right. Do you have any injuries that we should know about? We'll take it very easy on you. Feet together. Everyone start, your eyes closed. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Even higher. Exhale. Everyone go into downward dog. Just a nice, easy downward dog. Your feet rooted into the earth. Cara, can you come up here, please? Let me just show you how to do a really simple, basic downward dog. Cara's gonna demonstrate for us. Your hands are down, fingers straight. So we just want to loosen the shoulders. Eventually, we should be moving. Is pulling. Okay, a little bit tighter here. Loosen. Loosen. Draw your quadriceps up. So the spine should be very straight. Now, it should be all loose. Right here. Just like that. Beautiful. Thank you, Cara. And now let's sit down for a moment and do some light stretches before we go into sun salutations, keeping your eyes closed. So an easy cross-legged position. Now we're going to chant Om and breathe deeply 3 times. On the inhale. Let's try one more, please.
Hold on, please. Shut up! I'm trying to relax. Please.
Take a deep breath in, please. So it's through the nose and out through the nose very quickly.
Yo, man, which one of you came outside and shot? Huh? Was it you? Huh?
Keep breathing, remain calm.
I'm gonna count to 3.
Just keep breathing.
I want somebody to tell me who shouted when I get to 3. 1.
Hey, someone say something, all right, please?
2.
Guys, someone say who yelled?
3. Huh? Was it you?
Him. It was not me.
Hey, don't bet on me. I'm outside working, man. Minding my business. There's somebody outside with me. Who was it?
It was him.
Who? You?
It was him.
It was not him.
That wasn't me, dog.
It was not him.
I don't sound like that. Yo, man, I'm a yo-yo no, right?
Christoph,
I'm a yo-yo no, right?
get him. Christoph.
You're not going to touch him.
Christoph, okay?
What? I'm bigger and more powerful than you'll ever be.
What's
Okay, breathe.
Got something to say? No, what's up? What's up? What's up, huh? What's up, huh?
Get up.
What's up, huh?
Get up! Get up! Christoph, get up!
Breathe!
Stop! Breathe! 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 Get!
Tell me! Right now! Tell me what I want to hear! Right now!
Oh, God! As you've been asked! You're on my hidden camera show called The Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Tell me what I want to hear! Tell me right now!
We'll be back right after this!
He's a 40? Yes. Please don't tell me you're 40 in bed. Please don't.
Anywhere.
Where?
Anywhere.
Anywhere, damn.
Good morning. I'd like to ship this arsenic and cyanide spreading mechanism.
Arsenic and cyanide?
Right.
Yep. You're gonna ship that?
Right, but you know, it's packed up pretty good. It's not like it's leaking out.
I mean, it's hazardous materials.
That'd be illegal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm not trying to do anything illegal. I'm just...
Spreading arsenic and cyanide's not illegal.
I mean, I just want to ship these cigarettes.
I don't think that we're gonna let you ship it.
The Bourne Identity is the best spy thriller in years. Smart, sexy, stylish.
I need to get you to a safe place, now.
2 thumbs up. A new action hero is born. The Bourne Identity. Rated PG-13, now playing.
I think she smiled at me. Great smile. I wonder what her mom looks like. I'm wearing my lucky boxers. She'd look good in my boxers. What if she snores? What if I snore? Don't trip. Don't drool. Relax. How's my breath?
The intense flavor crystals and icebreakers give you a long-lasting fresh breath. And that should give you some confidence.
Get the cool. Get the cool to shine.
Icebreakers. The best way to break the ice.
7-Up is proud to sponsor youth hockey. And for when they get thirsty, I've provided plenty of 7-Up. Because I care about the kids. 7-Up is now proud to sponsor youth swimming. Kick those legs, Tommy.
Advanced technology. It's all around you. Cell phones, laptops, and of course, the road-gripping, rain-loving Bridgestone Turanza. Stops on command, corners like a dream, today and thousands of miles from now. The new Bridgestone Turanza LST. If only your browser navigated this well.
Inside every 170-pound white guy is a 300-pound black woman trying to get out.
You know, there's a lot of men and women out there who need a whole lot of help. But there's a whole lot of women in me that wants to help them. And who am I? Baby? I'm Virginia. Aren't you all so sweet? How y'all feeling?
Good.
Now, this show is what we talk about. We talk about love. We talk about finding it. We talk about keeping it. And sometimes we even talk about letting it go. Because you know you got to do that sometimes, right, ladies? All right, so I'd like to take some questions right now. How you doing, girl?
Virginia, currently I'm dating a 21-year-old virgin.
Say it again?
I'm dating a 21-year-old virgin.
Say it again.
21-year-old virgin. So how should I go about just trying to get him to let go?
Well, you need to open up the store. You know what I'm saying?
I have.
Well, then he needs to come out the closet. I don't know. You don't know? I don't know.
How do you tell a guy that you really like to fix his missing teeth?
Have him call a good dentist. Okay, that's the very first thing. Second of all, you need to start dating men that can afford dentures. Give yourself a big round of applause, okay? Now stay tuned for the next, okay? Thank you very much, and please help us welcome our guests today. They are a lovely couple. Let's give it up for Cicely and Tryson. Now, Cicely and Tryson have been dating for about 5 years, am I right?
Yes.
Correct.
They work together at the same company. She's a marketing business administrating assistant, and he is a computer technician. Cicely describes Tryson as fine, sexy, 6'2", and fine again. They are happy, but the relationship definitely has lost trust. So let's talk. So what, your name is Tryson?
Correct.
I like to try some. He is fine, girl. What's going on? He is so fine. Go ahead. Look at those little cat eyes staring me down. Go ahead. They're looking through me. All right, well, let's talk about, you know, what's some of the complaints that you had about him?
He passes gas no matter where we go.
He's a farter?
Yes.
So